between the tree. There it is again. Watch, straight ahead off my flashlight there. There it is. Right on this position here. Straight ahead in between the tree. There it is again. Watch, straight ahead off my flashlight there. There it is. Yeah, I see it too.
Norio the UFO. Norio the UFO. Norio the UFO.
That greenish ball of fire moved as if it was controlled. And so I have accumulated a total of about 30 years studying this so-called phenomena. The word UFO is a very misleading terminology. It's a euphemism that can cause dissension, that can cause disagreements and antagonism, and I believe it wasn't a coincidence that this term was created during the late 60s to cause confusion.
Question number 2. Is Area 51 in Nevada still active? And here's my answer. Yes, definitely. Even today, if one goes to the large parking lot of EG&G Terminal at Las Vegas McCarran Airport, every weekday it is still filled with vehicles of employees who report to work at Groom Lake, Nevada, Area 51. There are still anywhere from 7 to 8 flights daily going to and from Area 51 on unmarked 737 jets that arrive and depart from the EG&G terminal. In the past 3 years, there had been sizable additions, clearly visible to the Area 51 complex. 2 years ago, a new 155-foot three-sided bluish radar tower was constructed by the tarmac. More new buildings, water tanks, etc. have been added in the past 3 years. Last year, they just finished the construction of a humongous new hangar towards the south of the complex. But what does this all have to do with UFOs? Absolutely nothing. To a segment of the population, Area 51 has become associated with extraterrestrial technologies only because of the allegation, that is from Bob Lazar, that there had been a back engineering program conducted in secrecy at an allegedly relatively small complex hidden along the slope of Papoose Mountains by Papoose Lake, about 10 miles south of Area 51. There's no visible evidence of the existence of this S4 site as far as any detection by satellite photo is concerned. The alleged S4 site has become associated with Area 51 only because of its proximity to Area 51. The bottom line to S4 is that it is still an allegation only. That does not mean that it does not exist. It is inconclusive.
On June 6, 1998, the first People's Rally at Area 51 was held, right at the perimeter line of Area 51 on Groom Lake Road. The event was attended by lots of people. The main issue of the rally was for the government to admit that there is a base and give it a proper name. Of course, we understand now that the only official name that the Air Force accepted was an operating base near Groom Lake, and that has been the only official name admitted by the Air Force. But for the public at large, it's known as Area 51, which was the designation created by the Department of Energy, or formerly Atomic Energy Commission. So we understand that the government doesn't want to use the word Area 51.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking, I don't know, it sounds crazy probably, but if you could somehow get some nationwide publicity of something and get like a 1 Million Man March thing from a couple years ago and have 100,000 people show up at Area 51 and walk across their restricted area line, march up to the gate, you know, what would they be able to do? They would have to do something.
Oh, they would. They would arrest us.
Yeah. They couldn't arrest half the country, you know.
Yeah. Dulce. Dulce. Dulce.
During the unbelievable part, I was involved in building another base inside of Dulce, New Mexico, which is Los Alamos Laboratory. It's a biological laboratory. On the southwest part of the Archuleta Mesa, we built an underground facility, a better part of 3 cubic miles hollowed out underground. Then to the southwest of that...
Ladies and gentlemen, these creatures might be from Mars, really. They claim that they are from a planet which revolves around the red star, which we call Betelgeuse. The base at Dulce is one. The base at S4 in the area known as Area 51 or Dreamland is the second. Exchange of technology would take place in the jointly occupied bases. These alien bases would be constructed under Indian reservations in the 4 corners of Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona, and one would be constructed in Nevada in the area known as S4, located approximately 7 miles south of the western border of Area 51, otherwise known as Dreamland. All alien
I never told the story on air because it's so fantastical. Oh, God. They had in tanks people with gills, and they were little babies, and they were in there just gulping, clawing at the sides. You see a turtle at the zoo, and it wants out, and you feel for it. They got humanoids crossed with fish and stuff. I mean, we are screwed, people. I mean, do you understand that? The gulping humanoids in their tanks, scrabbling at the side with human horror in their eyes.
Beautiful day, October 5th, 2012. I'm right here by the Navajo River, right next to Dulce. I'm looking at a utility building right by this Hawks Bridge. This is the Hawks Bridge over Navajo River. Now you're looking at part of the Archuleta Peak in the distance, which is part of the Archuleta Mesa, right next to Dulce, New Mexico. Phil Schneider's Dulce Base Delusion. As I stated elsewhere many times before, I'm a firm believer in the reality of the UFO phenomenon, and that the phenomenon seems to continue to be reported from time to time, even in places like Dulce, New Mexico, which is no exception. As of yet, we do not know the true nature of this strange phenomenon. But I do not believe in the fabricated tales of con artist Phil Schneider and his claims about the Dulce base, whose physical existence has never been proven beyond a shadow of doubt. Aliens are here, dressed as nuns, says a former Minister of Defense of Canada.
The following may initially seem to be nothing more than a wild hypothetical scenario imagined by a fanatical doomsday prophet or an extreme conspiracy buff of some sort, but nevertheless the unprecedented global transformation taking place rapidly. All these drastic changes taking place, whether in world politics, economy, science, technology. It is my understanding that the European community, the EC, will even force Israel to sign the treaty if it had not done so by the end of 1992. Although the so-called scientific community at large, on the surface, there is no doubt in my mind that an official cover-up of major proportions of the entire subject was imposed by some supra-governmental authority.
Well, I'm standing at the very end of Corrales Heights in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, looking towards the Sandia Mountains in the distance and the village of Corrales close by. What a beautiful sight this is. It's about